The age is coming to an end, my friend. Twilight is falling, but a little light still remains.
Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are back for another episode of Twist of Fate, our Atari Twilight spin-off, alternate world. We don't know what we're calling it, but we're here. This is episode 4, and I am your disembodied voice, coming from, I don't know, somewhere in the void. That being said, if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on Patreon. Link for that down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, Greg gets to do what the hell he wants to these wonderful, unexpected players. And two, every single dollar goes back into this community, this channel, so I can get all kinds of cool overlays and eventually phase myself out of a job. So please, help make me unemployed. And without further ado, I will turn things over to Greg to take us back to the 80s that never was.
Thank you so much, my friend. Hi, I'm Greg Grimjack21502. I will be your narrator today as I sit down at a table with some of my very bestest buds and some of the very bestest role players that I know. And we are going to go back to Garrett, Maryland in 1988 of the 80s that never was. But before we can go back, we have to know who we're traveling with. So let's go around, meet everybody. Please tell us who you are, who you'll be playing, the playbook of the person you'll be playing, or the class of the person you'll be playing here in the Tales from the Loop system, and answer this question for me. Last time I asked you to give me one word about the emotional state of your character at this present time. So right now, what I think I would like to ask each of you is this. If at this moment you could have one person help you, but it can't be another member of the group, who would that one person be? If your character were to call out in the darkness and say, so and so, help, what name would your character utter? Let's start with G.
Hi. Today I'm playing Scarlett. She is 13-year-old girl. She is a jock. She's the athlete, the resident football player, and driven athlete. I think if she was gonna shout into the void a name to help her, it'd probably be her anchor, who is her older brother, the starting quarterback for the high school football team, Kyle.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let's jump down to Melissa. Melissa, same bevy of questions.
Hi, Melissa Meyer. I play Heather Jones, who is the weirdo of the group. She's an awkward adolescent, shy, nervous all the time. And right now, I think Greg set me up for this one. Right now, the person that she would call out to, the one name would have to be Falcor.
I like it. Let's jump over to Chris. Chris, same questions, my friend.
I am Chris, and I am playing Ricky Lewis, who is the class Hick. Who would he call out to? I would have to say Indiana Jones. Indy got out of a lot of sticky situations. Our kids are stuck in a sticky situation.
I like the way you think. I'll be watching you. Okay, let's drop down. And last but certainly not least, Mitchell Bacon. Same questions, my friend.
Yeah, I'm playing Jesse J.D. Davis. He is the bookworm class, I suppose. He plays football with Scarlett, but also enjoys all things pop culture. Who would I call out to? If I have to pick one person, I'm going to go with Shaggy. If I get two, I'm going to go Shaggy and Scoobs.
Someone once said to me, Shaggy and Scooby were the weakest members of the Mystery Machine crew. And I always argued against that
Yeah,
because if you look back, they really never get caught, at least not for any extended period of time, because they're always the ones that are still on the loose. And you think, well, there's no way everybody else is going to get out of this if these two idiots are the ones in charge. But somehow they maintain their separation from the monsters.
Yeah. It's their chaos that's unpredictable that catches the monster.
It's their superpower, and they do use it for good.
Yeah.
Fantastic, my friends. Fantastic. Okay, so before we dive back down into Garrett, I would say to both my Keystones, the group that you see in front of you, and the Autobots, who are the group of kids that are playing in the Prime campaign, so to speak. The following is for all of you. My friends, if you could go to our Spotify playlist, because here in the 80s that never was, the 80s as they existed for everyone else in the real world still exist. We have the same pop culture, the same movies, television. We have the same sports figures. And we also, like I said and mentioned, the music. The music plays a huge role in both this campaign in the original 80s and the 80s that never was. And so as the Garrett is the nexus, all things 80s come here. And if you could look at your Spotify playlist, please cue up a little Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac. As I do that as well. Some stories need no introduction, at least none provided by the text of a writer or the description of a narrator. This is one such tale. We've reached the moment where it begins to tell itself, where the characters know the danger, they know what they're up against. This is the part of the story that only the characters can truly tell. So instead of stepping on their toes, the toes of our heroes, let's help them. Let's use these dark raven's wings that we have and see something that they can't. Let's show them a secret. Away we fly from the new residence of Randall Flagg, up and away out into the nearby mountains, away from Garrett, away from the loop, but not too far removed, just 30 minutes away as the raven flies. The mountain mist parts and a large radio tower lances into the blue December sky. A sheet metal structure, Spartan in pomp, but more than sturdy enough to stand against the frigid Garrett winter, is nestled at the tower's base. A black 1950 Chevy Coupe climbs the last of the gravel road to come to rest in the center of what would be a 3-spot parking lot in front of the tower and its building. As our wings lower to a nearby branch, we see that a stenciled designation is painted on the side of the building. Go 106.1 FM. DJ extraordinaire Jackie Emrock swings from behind the wheel of the old Chevy and looks around with a gaze shielded by his ever-present shades. From the back seat, he gathers a large cardboard box of supplies, food, drinks, newspapers. With heavily scuffed cowboy boots, the DJ picks up a few pebbles as he quickly crosses to the door of the building. He knocks. Not a random rap, but instead a perfect imitation of the breakdown in Phil Collins's In the Air Tonight. Not getting an immediate answer, he turns from percussion to vocals. Martha, it's me. It's Jackie. I have your stuff. I wore the shirt you told me to. Stepping back, he uses his free hand to open his denim jacket, revealing his AC/DC North American concert tee. A whisper arrives from the other side of the door. What's my second favorite song? The DJ smiles. Hazy Shade of Winter, written by Simon and Garfunkel, but you like the Bangles cover that came out last year. After a few quick releases of Hidden Locks, the door bursts open and Martha in the Morning springs out, wrapping her arms around Jackie. Thank God. Jesus, Jackie, you scared the hell out of me. Shifting the cardboard box, Jackie returns the hug and brings Martha's eyes up to his. I told you I'd bring you some gear before I had to be at the tree lighting. Martha, her freshly cut and dyed blonde hair, tilted to look up at him. You can't go. If I'm not there, you won't be able to see them. They'll be all around and you won't know who you're talking to. I have to come. Negatory, good buddy, said the DJ. You have to stay here and keep spinning all the hits. I'll be okay. They're looking for you, not for me. You're safe here. The young woman playing the role of Martha in the morning steps back and nods, knowing Jackie is right. Yeah, but I'm not doing any good out here. We can't find the others, and now I've lost VH. I'm letting everyone down. First Sam and my parents, and the others, now the whole town. Jackie shakes his head. That's bullshit, Veronica. You keep yourself safe for what's ahead. I'll report back as soon as I know it's safe. Until then, you keep the Chevy here, and I'll ride my bike back. Veronica Kirkshaw, now known as Martha in the morning, nods back. Stay safe, old troubadour. Jackie gives a low bow. Always. A few moments later, and DJ Jackie Emrock is on his Harley rocketing back toward Garrett, his crystal earring bouncing against his lobe as Veronica Kirkshaw goes back inside and flips on her mic just as Fleetwood Mac finishes up. Good afternoon, Garrett. I'm Martha in the morning. I'm in all day today as Jackie gets ready for the big tree lighting this evening. This next instant dedication goes out to JB and all the heroes out there. What's on Your Mind by the Information Society. I'm Martha in the morning, and you're listening to Go 106.1 with all the hits that's fit to spin. And with our wings, we take off as well. With our secret told, we are carried back toward our heroes and the story only they can tell. Everyone, cue up a little Information Society. And my friends, JD, Scarlett. When last we saw our group, they had split to get some bikes after a not so pleasant encounter with a armed and fully operational robot. The two of you are separated right now from Heather and Ricky. What do you do as you pedal towards the rendezvous and, of course, destiny?
Well, I think when you say pedaling, that is quite an extreme term because Scarlett, again, has her head down and she's just pumping away on her pedal or on the pedals.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just kind of a frantic pace that we're trying to keep to get away from what we just came from and get to where we're supposed to go.
Yep. And she's continuing to push herself a lot harder. I don't know if JD is keeping up with her or not, but she's motoring.
Trying to.
Yep.
If this is something that Scarlett isn't aware of, and this is something that she could potentially outpace him without realizing it, if you all want to roll a move roll and see how the dice play out.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so JD, you're very aware that she is pedaling full force, but you are able to keep up. Maybe you're a little bit more conservative with your pedaling. You can see ways to kind of gain momentum where Scarlett's just going straight ahead, power no matter what, full pedal. You're able to keep up and not fall back.
Okay.
I think he notices that when you're cycling and you're getting tired, you're putting a lot more effort into each down push. So he sees her like she's pushing for more than she has the energy for.
Scarlett, maybe we should take a break. You look tired.
And she doesn't really respond. But as he catches up with her, he kind of like, if you look over, you see that she's crying.
Scarlett, let's stop. Stop.
I can't stop. And then she kind of falters a little bit and like her bike kind of wobbles and then she stops pedaling and like kind of like sits back on the seat and kind of just like coasts. And then she kind of hits the brake and she's like skidding to a stop. and she's full on like tears are just streaming down her cheeks.
Yeah. I don't know if JD's ever seen Scarlet and in such an emotional state. So he'll place one hand on a shoulder and just say, hey, it's been crazy. Everything's gonna be we're gonna be okay.
But I don't know what's going on. And she starts breathing really heavily as she's like sobbing, and she's JD, I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. And she's ugly, full on ugly crying.
I'll drop my bike and I'll step over it, embrace her in a hug and say, hey, I'm scared too.
What? I don't know what just happened. And I was running and I'm so tired and I don't know what's happening to me.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
We got there's a lot of crazy things happening. And
it was shooting bullets and look, and she kind of holds up her sleeve, and there's a gouge in the arm of her sleeve. She's not bleeding or anything, or she doesn't look to be injured, but it looks like a bullet like grazed through the fabric of her shirt. No, what am I doing? Like, I can't breathe, JD. What do we?
You just gotta breathe through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, and calm down.
And she kind of looks at you in the eye, and I'm scared, JD. What do I do?
I wish I knew. I don't know. I don't know what to do either. We just have to. We got to keep our wits about us, at least for a moment. Get somewhere and be able to, I don't know, tell somebody or something.
No, you can't tell anyone. You can't. You can't tell anyone.
Okay. We can tell Optimus when we get him back, and maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
I think even though I know this is crazy, we're in a weird spot. But my mom used to say something to me, and I think this kind of will ring true because we have a chance at something. I think, and she used to say, when you look down and you feel out, they never expect you to punch them in the mouth. They're not going to expect us to do anything. This is we can do it.
What if they come after us? Like,
I don't know, but
they tried to kill us.
I know. But look, when we went to Castle Grayskull, I was in a similar spot to you, and you guys helped me. I didn't want to go, and I was scared, and I was afraid, and you guys helped me through that. So we did that together. We'll do this together. It's gonna be okay.
And she kind of like I think she'll lean against you and like hug you.
Yeah. Embrace her.
JD, roll lead.
Oh, not my best. Hey, I got one.
JD, for this session, you have 2 dice that you can give to any of your friends at any time they need it. You can't give it to yourself, but you may give it to the others.
Don't tell anyone.
I won't.
Okay. And she kind of like wipes at her face a little bit, and she's still kind of like breathing heavily, and that tenseness that she had for like the past hour that they were out is kind of, it feels like it's like just drained away, and she kind of just like slumps against you. So tired.
Hopefully we can rest soon.
Yeah. And she kind of like sits back. I guess maybe we should keep going. We got to meet the others.
Yeah. Let's do that.
And she kind of sniffs and like wipes at her face again. Thanks, Kitty.
As we pull back away from the scene, I'll ask G one question.
Yeah.
Is Scarlett pedaling as hard as she was before this conversation?
No. She's out for a casual bike ride now. That's the vibe she's got going on.
Casual bike ride, one that you do with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
As you pull back, I forget if this is something. Do you have any stress right now, G? Did you get anything?
No,
you don't have any conditions, right?
No conditions, no. But I'd like to take one if that's.
If you are volunteering to get one.
Yeah, I think that fits for her.
Sure, absolutely. If you take one, however, I am going to award you with a bonus die for doing so as an election.
Mm-hmm.
What are you picking as your condition?
Exhausted.
Sure. And separate from the leadership dice that JD received from his role, you get one for accepting this. It's a self-realization, something that usually immortal teenagers and teenagers don't experience, but you know your limitations. And as we pull back from the scene, now just two friends on a casual bike ride instead of a mad dash through the city of Garrett, we spin around, helix a bit, and we come to rest at two other pedaling forms that seem to be converging with the two that we just left. Ricky, Heather especially, you have just realized your new neighbor is Randall Flagg. Welcome back to Garrett.
Heather, in contrast to Scarlett, which is not uncommon, I guess, is calmer, very inwardly focused. You know, think of how you might get in a common commute driving your car, where you're not really seeing the cars that are around you, but somehow you're still responding to everything, still going down the same track, somehow automatically flocking, maybe with Ricky, not really knowing that he's there, but still following along somehow in some autonomous way. And so things are very quiet on her side for a few minutes. And then out of nowhere, she shakes her head a little bit, and her driving or her riding of her bike becomes a little bit more erratic, and she suddenly pulls off onto the side of the road, and her bike starts to clatter, and it is maybe scraping up against the gutter, the concrete gutter at the side of the road, and you're kind of like, ooh, and maybe you wince because who knows what kind of damage is being done there. And then, in lacking any kind of grace, she comes to an inelegant stop, barely maybe even still perched across, the top of her bike. And, maybe for Ricky, this isn't an unexpected sight because, he's seen her time and time again on a bicycle. And at that point, she looks up and she realizes that she hasn't seen Ricky at all. Where is he? Is he there?
Ricky hasn't gone far. Ricky's been very quiet. The whole ride, he hasn't said a word since leaving the house. Glancing back to Heather every now and then to make sure she's still there. And he's pedaling. He's near enough coasting. And as she clatters off to the side of the road, he just turns his bike around and slowly rides back towards her.
I guess I haven't gotten quite the thing of that, the stopping of the bike. You can just stay on top of it when it's moving, but sometimes you need like a bush or something to help you stop.
Yeah, sometimes.
Did you see him, Ricky? Did you see him this time?
Greg, we definitely both saw him. Ricky just nods.
You know what I was thinking about just now? I was thinking about this time the other day that I was over at JD's house and we were watching the Goonies. And do you know what the kids say in that movie? They say,
now is our time.
No, they say never say die. maybe they say now is our time. Yeah, they did. But I think it's crap, Ricky. It's JD, he's so smart, and I know it's his favorite movie, but I think it's total crap because, of course those kids can't die. I mean, who made that movie, right? Was it Walt Disney? Those kids weren't going to die. But we can die. We can die. And we can get hurt. And sometimes you get hurt in ways that you can't heal back from, I'm not brave like Scarlet, she's never afraid. And so there's just so many things that I can never do, and you know how the kids at the school are. So I can never walk down a hallway without somebody saying or doing something, and I can never sit at the front of the class. And I can't ride in the bus. And I can never go downstairs to watch TV. And I can never go down for breakfast. I just can never. But you know what I was thinking? I was thinking that maybe we shouldn't say never say die, but we could say never say never, Because, maybe if Randall Flagg is my next door neighbor and Optimus Prime is in your grain silo, maybe then anything is possible. And maybe today, we can defeat an evil supervillain and then we can get to the tree lighting ceremony on time. And maybe I can be brave like Scarlet, and maybe good like you, and maybe smart like JD, Never say never.
Say never. Every journey starts with a step. Maybe this is the step. All being well, we can get rid of Randall Flagg. We can save Optimus and get to the tree lighting.
Yeah. We should go save Optimus. You
Stronger
don't have
together. We stay together. We fight it together. We deal with the problems together. Don't need to be alone.
Yeah. You're so nice, Ricky. Thank you for being my friend.
You're welcome. Thank you for being mine. School would have been horrible. I would hate to think what the next year is going to be like if it was just on my own. I know I've got you. I've got Scarlet and JD to look out for me and help me out to get through the next 2 years.
Yeah. You don't have to tell them about my sister.
It's not my story to tell. And that was your sister throwing things out of your room?
I think so.
Do we need to deal with her as well as Randall Flagg?
I mean, she's my sister. We're not gonna.
Can't get rid of her, but
We should go save Optimus Prime.
we take that first step together.
Yeah.
Heather, as this first step is taken after this conversation, you remember something. It comes at you in a rush. like a wave when you have your back to the ocean, or the smell of some delicious pie upon a summer day. G, Chris, Bacon, take 5. Everybody cue up the song. Go down to the bottom of your Spotify playlist. A little quietly cue up Loved by the Sun. It is January 1980. How old is Heather? Melissa, if
Right.
Heather's 13 now, is she 13?
Sorry, it's a little bit of lag on muting. In 80, she would have been 4 or 5, depending on where we are in the year.
So at January, she'd probably be 4 then,
Well,
just at the edge of innocence. And at 4 years old, where is Heather? Is she in Garrett?
maybe not. She doesn't remember very much of her early youth. But no, she would have been maybe with her actual parents.
Is she happy?
She is. She doesn't, obviously, she's much younger. She looks the same. She doesn't look the same. She's got long, like bleach blonded hair and skin that's tanned by the sun. She wears, brightly colored clothes in the 70s style, like golds and the bright oranges and the gross avocado green all mixed together, mismatched short shorts with scraped knees from lots and lots of play outside.
One of the single greatest descriptions I've ever had of a child of the 80s. Amazing. At this moment, in January of 1980, sun-kissed, Heather, you find yourself lying atop a great fur rug, warm and soft, a young child innocent to the evils so soon to come. Like a splash of sun through an ice-frosted window, you doze in the warmth. And beneath you, the rug purrs. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared. Not no more. Beneath you, a lion kicks, talks, and fidgets in his slumber. Oh, come at me. I'll give you a right paw, a left paw.
You're a good kitty. Good kitty.
The great lion wakes up with a start. Heater, you're here. Oh, what do you want to play? We can go swimming in the great Eastern Ocean. You have to jump in first. Tell me if it's safe. As you look around the great Narnian glade, another lion, this one much, much larger, strides toward you, each sweep of their massive paw, a perfectly placed march of a true king. Heather, my sweet child, we must speak as the aged do. Faced with these two lions, one smaller, just beneath your embrace, and one great and proud walking towards you, what do you, a Heather of 4, before the evils, what do you do?
Speak? Should we have tea? A tea party? And we can talk? I can bring Paddington. She has in her arm a teddy bear, and on its head is a folded paper hat that has been scribbled in red.
Paddington looks from you back to Aslan, back to the lion at your side, and then back to you. And the great lion says, I'm sorry. We do not have time for tea.
Why?
This is a dream. Did you know that?
A dream? Are you a dream?
Well, a dream for many, but for a rare few, like you, it is also real. You can walk between the worlds as others do the rows of a garden.
But you're real.
And you are too. For all there are many types of dreams, most forgotten, a precious few remembered, but even fewer still are lost. And that's what this will become, a lost dream.
Lost. Why?
I have used all of my magic, all that I know, the deepest magic. We cannot stay with you.
No, stay.
You see a great tear roll down from the lion's eye into his furred cheek. You have such a lonely path ahead, and it breaks my heart that you must walk it alone.
No, just stay.
You will be surrounded by the cruel. You will be under siege from the wicked. You will live in a land of monsters.
Monsters? No.
I'm so sorry, my sweet child. I have failed you.
I don't understand.
At this point, the smaller of the two lions, your nap mate, stands up on his hind legs, tears pouring down his fur-covered face. No, I'm not leaving Heater. She's my very best friend. I don't care what monsters come. I'm scared, but I'll fight them all. I'll give them all a right paw, a left paw, and a right. The larger lion walks forward, leans his muscled flank against the smaller in a show of comfort. You cannot, lion. The veil will come between us, no matter how hard we try to hold on.
Heather runs to the lion and gives him a big hug. Right
Which
around
one?
his neck. The one that's speaking.
It's no fair. I'll fight this veil. I don't care how scared I am. My sweet child, this new age has just begun, and I fear for you it will be an age of loneliness. The great veil will grow separating us, but when this new age falls to twilight, the space between us will begin to weaken. When the Dark One comes into your life, this will no longer be a dream lost, but a dream remembered. You will remember your youth with us inside this world. You will remember that you are not alone.
Will you come back? Will you come back?
A slow nod of the great head. You will remember that you are loved.
I love you too.
The smaller lion looks to the great lion. Will she remember her very bestest friend?
Always.
She will, lion. I can make sure that you remember anything when the twilight falls. Is there something you want to hold on to, Heather?
You.
And so it shall be. I want you to remember more than anything else that you have a family, and that the long, lonely road you've walked is nearing its end. Remember you are loved, and when the veil fades, all of us will begin appearing in your dreams. Lion and I will be the last because we are the last to be with you. When the veil falls, know this. We will come. We will charge like the great armies of old. And the smaller lion looks and wraps his great paws around you. I'll be there, Heater. I'll lead the charge myself.
I'll drop the wedding veil as soon as I find it.
They start to fade.
No, don't go.
You are one of us, my sweet child. Never forget, this is your home. When the veil falls, together again we shall be. Now, repeat the spell of remembrance, my child. Both lions seem to be running to stay with you, each with lowered heads, giving everything they have to keep within earshot. Say it to make it so. Repeat my words. Sweet song of youth, the wise, the meeting of all wisdom. Say it, Heather.
Sweet song of youth, the wise, the
meeting of all wisdom.
Meeting of all wisdom. Sweet song of youth, the wise, the meeting of all wisdom. Sweet song of youth, the wise, the meeting of all wisdom.
The large lion, Aslan the king, begins to fall back, though he seems to be running with all of his might. The small lion, your napmate, foam and spittle flying from his muzzle, eyes wild with desperation, just to stay with you, his very soul being used to power his run. I won't leave you, Heater. I won't leave my bestest friend.
I love you forever.
But inevitability and the power of the veil slowly draws the loyal lion from you. And don't be scared, Heater. I'll find a way back to you. We all will. I'll lead the charge. I love you, Heater. I love you.
Bye.
And in 1988, with the arrival of Randall Flagg, the Dark One, Aslan's spell is triggered, and a dream lost becomes a dream remembered. For this flashback, my friend, you receive a reward. Once a queen of Narnia, always a queen of Narnia. And you have 3 successes to use on anything you'd like. Four riders were approaching, all on bikes. What do you do when you get together? Also, Greg is making an audible here because of the chat. If you notice, I have just added Night Ranger's Sister Christian to the bottom of the Spotify playlist. Let's cue that up right now. You all ride together.
I think they don't say anything. It's just 4 bikes just converging, and then they just join formation and they just keep going.
Yeah, I think with each somber moment that both groups had individually, probably don't feel like talking.
After a little while of riding in silence, Ricky just speaks up and says, he's back.
Who?
He looks over to JD, Randall Flagg.
What do you mean?
He looks back to Heather.
No Flag. He's my next door neighbor now.
Yay.
Just to clarify, we did see this person in Castle Grayskull, correct?
Yeah, I think we like
just the once.
Yeah, towards like the very end when he was
You and Ricky would have seen him from a distance across the expanse. JD got a real good look at him because he was on the same side as Heather.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We're sure it's him.
I mean, he looks exactly like he's always looked. I know you guys haven't seen him, but the sunglasses and the hair and the jean jacket, the boots.
I
What
remember
do we
him.
do?
I don't know, but we dealt with him once.
For now, I mean, maybe Optimus can help us. And I mean, so far we've done all right. Let's just stay together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We
Stick
can do
together,
it.
we have a plan.
Us four stay together. We can do this. We can do this.
Let's say.
Yeah. They got this Randall Flagg dude's got nothing on us. Same with big robots.
Yeah. Heather took care of him once. I'll look to Heather in her eyes. You can do it again.
Or you can. He's scary.
Well, but I've seen you do it one time before, so.
We need to go.
Yeah, let's go.
We're not alone. We have each other. We do it together.
And
Scarlet
as we
just pedals a little faster. Not crazy faster, but faster.
And then as Scarlet kind of pulls just a little bit out into the lead, kind of the front of a phalanx of birds in flight, we take to our wings as we see the V of the four riders disappearing towards the Lewis farm. In silence for the remaining minutes of the trek. But before too long passes, pavement becomes dirt road, and the Lewis farm is reintroduced to the scene. It looks the same as when you left it.
Oh, everything looks good.
Yeah,
Optimus.
she's gonna look around. I don't see any of those things around. Let's get to Optimus.
Sun's still shining. That's a good sign.
It's a beautiful day. I mean,
Also-
now, of course, you can always roll me investigates if you want to, but I mean, that's not something that has to happen.
I also think on the as like maybe when the road turned to dirt road, they chat a little bit more. They would have informed Ricky about what that weird conversation they overheard outside the trailer between someone called Dr. Arkaville and that woman
Okay.
in the red outfit.
So then, unless the three of you chose to omit anything, Ricky, you now know the entirety of that conversation as well.
Heather is just quiet. She's far too much in her head right now.
I think Scarlet would lead the group and ride the bike right up to the outside of the shed, the tool shed.
You are not prevented from doing so. You ride directly up to the shed that is at the base of the silo.
All right, we're going up. Do you want me to take the bags?
Yeah.
Yeah, can someone take this one?
Ricky will take as many as he can try and grab. He's done this climb many times. With the bags, it's a little bit more difficult. But.
Right. Well, to aid you as well, because of Heather's earlier save of Ricky, there is a kind of lassoed, pulleyed rope system that is up to almost the top. You can easily attach a bag to what used to hold a Ricky foot and use that to get up there. So Greg wouldn't be forced to make a move roll or something and have one of you fall and break your neck, and then that'd be awful, right?
I think Ricky would just, if they start to, we'll take the pulley, he's just going to jump and start climbing that ladder.
Okay.
It's a usual thing for him, even if he's just taking the one backpack.
Yep. You all ascend to the summit.
Yeah, Heather will follow up Ricky.
I think Scarlet will be last, and she picks up her that big wrench that I'm assuming she just discarded onto the ground at the time.
It's still there,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, she'll pick it up and just hang on to it just for safekeeping.
And like I did the last time, if you should need to swing that wrench for any reason, it will give you a +1 to the roll that I asked for. So it's an item for this scene. You get to the top. The door does not appear to be the little hatch for viewing, does not appear to have been disturbed from when it was closed. And when you open, you see a great blue metalled fist that is reaching out of the grain with a thumbs up.
Ricky opens the hatch and just jumps straight in.
You can all
off
easily,
to the side so he's not in anyone's way.
Yeah, you all can get right back in. No need for a roll. If anybody's staying outside, let me know. Otherwise, you can all easily descend to your prior positions. It takes you just a moment to kind of push back the grain again and reveal that great piece of blue glass with the tiny spark set deep within it.
Optimus, we got the energon. And she'll take her drawstring bag and like pull it open.
Much like it did in the kind of the basement of the trailer, as soon as you open your bag, it fills the entirety of the silo with that constant bathed blue light just emanating from the bag, almost, just like a spotlight streaming from the satchel. It's pleasant enough. There's no response from Optimus.
Do you have to?
I think he has a mouth. Did you put it in his
feed
mouth?
it?
I don't know. And she'll take one of the cubes out and puts it on the glass and kind of knocks on the glass like, Optimus, are you there?
Roll me an investigate or a comprehend. And if anybody wants to help with this roll or do the roll themselves, you can. Assistance will give you a +1.
No successes for me. Oh, you're assisting? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Nope.
It's sitting there. You can see that the light itself is reflected in the great blue glass, but it's just a reflection. You don't see anything, or you can't notice anything different.
Well, maybe if we dig him out, maybe there's some compartment. Ricky, where do you put the grain? Can we just empty the grain?
The only way to empty is to take it out the bottom, but then we can't get it back in. I would get in a lot of trouble if I just opened the hatch and emptied all the grain out.
Can't lose all that.
Not just us, but all the farms in the area are going to have trouble through winter. Maybe the side window of the car, and he starts to dig down next to try and get to one of the little windy windows to see if they're open.
Sure thing. You can roll me a force. Again, as we described in the narrative, this is loose material. This is like dry sand. And so you get to the point when you're digging where there's no place to put what you're digging. And so as you're trying to reach it up, more is rolling down in. You're getting a little deeper than you did before, but it's just a matter of displacement. There's no place for this to go that doesn't cause more of it to run in from the sides. And you don't have anything to kind of keep the sides back, if that makes sense. You're digging through a material that doesn't want to maintain a hole.
Is there anything up here in the silo other than just a cylinder with grain and a gigantic robot in the middle of it?
It's got a roof, the top to the silo that can come off, so you can actually set up a conveyor system to like dump the grain in if it's in mass quantities, which it normally is at the end of the season. That appears to be damaged to the point where it looks like it was probably broken off and then just placed back on the top. So any hinge system or any conveyor system that probably worked there before is likely hopelessly sundered because of the removal of the top.
Greg, you said we can see the small faint spark behind the glass.
Yeah.
If I run my hands like around the glass, is there any like a hatch or anything that I can unlock or move to unlock that part to open that glass up?
Sure. Roll me investigate or tinker.
Investigated is
Nice.
With 2 successes, as you go to start to look at this blue glass plate, you realize that about 1/8 of an inch of the energon that's resting atop of it has slipped inside, like it's melting on top of it.
the cube that we brought is melting inside of this like glass that has 1/8 of an inch like hole.
The cube itself looks like it's
Trying to, like-
decreased by 1/8 of an inch,
Oh,
almost as if it were an ice cube on top of a skillet.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. It's
Guys, look. Scarlet, you press the energon against the glass, and it looks lower. It's melting almost.
Yeah.
It's falling away. So maybe it just takes time. Maybe it has to be close enough to him so that he can,
Yeah, like
pull it in.
like osmosis. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. Yeah.
You're the smart one.
Well, I don't know. It could be that. This is also a big robot with a big shiny blue cube that's apparently sucking the energy out of it. So I don't know if our stuff is the same.
Quick, get the other bags, get the other cubes. And she's gonna take the other one out and like plonk it onto the glass.
Ricky just empties his backpack of all of them onto the glass.
You're able to arrange it in a way that it's very similar to how you found them in that pyramid 3x2x1. And they are all kind of resting on top of the eye. Just enough space exists for you to kind of get them all. So in theory, if the bottom row were to melt completely in, then the next 2 would go, so you have them staged, if you will. I will tell you this, if you wait about 15 minutes, you realize that about 1 inch of the first row has disappeared into Optimus.
Yeah, look, it's just like a battery, right? If it completely drains and you go to charge it, it's going to take time to tick all the way back up.
Well, while we were waiting, why don't we look at your message again, JD, because we have more words, so we should be able to figure out some of the rest of the message.
Yeah. I'll take the journal out of my backpack and I'll hand it to Heather. We'll have like what's already been done, the first few words on it.
Right. And I will say this to you all, what I said to JD when you attempted this in the first episode. Mm-hmm. This is something that you'll likely be able to do. However, even with a success, it's going to take you more time than it would if you had something to translate it readily from. This is kind of like using a cipher to take something. Instead of just being able to go through quickly and see exactly which one lines up with each other, you have to kind of cross-reference and make your own kind of cipher and your alphabet as you build it. Mm-hmm. So you can roll me a comprehend, but again, this takes longer than having a library book.
Yeah, I think the idea is that we're just filling the time while Optimus is charging. So
JD, do you think it would take us less time to go to the library than it would take us to get through this?
Well, yeah. I think if we had a book that already had a mapped out alphabet for what each dash was, and we'd probably be able to figure it out much quicker. But I think if we do some now, then it will be even quicker once we get to the library because we'll already have some done.
But I think it's going to take maybe a couple of hours for Optimus to be done.
Oh, you mean leave the farm, let Optimus do his thing, and go to the library and come back?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I guess I'll look at it again. It's been about, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes, and there's only about an inch that's gone. So it's going to take some time, but we don't know how much he needs to be functional. Maybe he doesn't need all of this. Maybe it's only one cube. I don't know.
What if
The more power we give him, the better, right?
No. Yeah, I just don't know. Maybe it's only going to be another 30 minutes before he wakes up.
Well, all
Not
the
a-
cubes are there. They're all melting into him. It's just going to take time. So we could go and take care of some of the other things we need to do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's getting later, and I have to
Yeah.
be, in the middle of town soon. A couple hours.
It's pushing 3 o'clock right now because of the first row. If you're going to make a guess, and again, I'm not going to make you roll for this, but as it's going right now, the first row of 3 that would sink in, it's going to take at least 3 hours.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should go, because if we go to the library, Optimus can take care of himself once he has the energy, right? So at the library, we'll be closer to the tree ceremony. So if something bad happens, I'll be able to still make it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And maybe if we have time, we go look for that Rob guy.
Optimus's son?
Yeah, Optimus's son.
Yeah. We could look for Rob.
We need to start asking around about a missing Rob.
I was thinking about it. Do you think he's the one that works at the paperback exchange? JD, the one I'm talking about?
Can I roll for something? Can I roll like a mind or something? Because I have an interesting idea of how to connect these two.
Would
Sure,
that be
absolutely.
Contact, right?
Yeah. What would it be? Contact?
Yeah, likely. If that's what you're
Okay.
using it for, you're trying to make a association between.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yes. Okay. When she says that, I'll go, wait, wasn't there somebody? There was somebody who came into the paperback exchange. He even had, looks over to Optimus. He had a helmet like Optimus. It would go.
Oh, maybe it wasn't a helmet. Maybe it was his head.
what?
No, I think I saw him take it off.
No.
Maybe not. Oh
Well,
my
maybe
God,
Optimus
it
can
is
take off his head.
Oh. Maybe. I haven't read enough of those. Now I'm going to have to buy them all. Well, I remember that. I remember somebody, that's a weird thing to happen, right? That can't be a coincidence.
But the paperback exchange is closed now.
Well, it's a good start, right? That's at least interesting.
Do you remember his last name?
Mm-mm.
Maybe we could find his address.
I don't remember.
He had an Optimus helmet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone else wearing that, so maybe
Oh, just ask
the
around.
kids at school. Yeah.
Maybe or
Oh.
at the library. Let's ask at the library, because if he was at the paperback exchange, maybe he went to the library too, because of the
Yeah.
books. So we're going to the library anyway.
Yeah. That works.
All right. Well, we should go.
Yeah. Let's go.
As you then leave the silo, is there anything you do differently? Do you?
I'm gonna take a page out of the notebook, my journal. I'll rip out one of the back pages that hasn't been filled, and I will write Optimus. We went to went to library, and then sign it Keystones.
Looking for PS, looking for Rob.
A
Yeah,
sentence no one would have written 3
No
years
one
ago.
would. Yeah. What is that?
Frank, we would
Yeah.
know that trucks have radios, right? And Optimus is a truck. Would we know that Optimus is a truck?
I mean, it once identified as Optimus Prime. Should he fulfill the obligation of looking like the true Optimus Prime, Optimus was a truck. Yeah.
Ricky turns to JD. Do you still have the walkie? Because maybe he can communicate with that. Trucks have radios in them.
Oh yeah. I'll
Make sure we
dig through
keep it
my
on.
bag. Okay, and I'll flip it on.
Yeah, does it have like a code on it? Maybe you can give him the code.
No, it just
I don't
has
know. How does that work?
it just has this beatbox.
Well,
on
tell him that about your beatbox walkie-talkie.
Tell Optimus?
Yeah, in your letter.
Oh, yeah, I'll write that down. Have walkie-talkie.
Put
Beatbox.
beatbox on there.
Beatbox. Do you know what beatbox means? I don't know.
Maybe
Contact me
that's
through radio.
yeah. Maybe that's like you tell them maybe you could use it as a code or something. Like the code is beatbox or something.
Oh yeah. Contact us through radio. Use code word beatbox.
The note is left.
Hopefully he can read.
Oh, yeah. Let's hope he can.
Really little writing.
Yeah.
I need my bifocals. What is?
Ricky.
Ricky, being a farmer, he would know what the weather is due to be like for the next few days, I'm assuming.
According to the almanac now, yes.
And it's the forecast over the next day or so is supposed to be sunny. I'm hoping.
It's supposed to be sunny, but tonight, as the fates would have it, the first noticeable or substantial snowfall is supposed to come. As you know, it's as if the holiday season itself blessed everybody with a tree lighting ceremony that could actually have snow. But beyond tonight, it's supposed to be nice.
All right. In that case, if Ricky knows that the weather is not supposed to be beautiful sunshine and clear skies, he will not open the top of the silo.
Okay.
Well, let's just go down the ladder this time. Jumping last time was just, I think I bruised my knee.
Ricky, can we lock the hatch from the outside?
It's not meant to be locked.
Is there like a handle or something like that?
There's a slide bar, that you can that just keeps it from flying open in the wind and keeps the inside from getting wet.
Okay, yeah. Can she use the wrench to try and at least wedge it shut?
You could, and I would say that given just 5 minutes, you could definitely succeed at doing that. However, this would be something that you might have a problem getting back in later. You would have to jam it in such a way that it would be jammed, not jammed for somebody else, just straight jammed.
Well, jammed for little monster guys.
Sure, yeah. I mean, if you want to give it a shot, you could absolutely figure out a way to it would be difficult, using the ladder and using, kind of closing the wrench a bit and working it in across the handle and the bar. It's almost like anybody that's super old like me remembers the club that they used to hold a steering wheel in place whenever for, theft deterrent. You basically club the door.
Yeah, she's gonna try doing that just to be sure. I know it's like turning a key lock, leaving the key in the door on the outside of the door, but at least hopefully she says to the others that if those creatures come back, they're not smart enough to figure this out.
Do you think he can get out?
He came in through the roof.
Yeah, if he's a big giant robot, like his hand was like as big as my whole body. I hope he can get out.
Hope he doesn't break your silo, Ricky.
Ricky looks up. He already has.
Oh.
I hope he can fix it.
All right,
I'm not that type of transformer. Sorry. Yeah, so you're able to descend, you get back to your bikes, and the lock is in place. Best case scenario, it'll buy Optimus several seconds while they fiddle with it. You know what I mean? Back to Garrett.
It's completely foolproof in her mind.
It's the best you could do with what you have. So it's definitely something,
Mhm.
Good stuff. So is your destination the library?
Yep, back to the library, I think.
All right, so you know what? This was our original travel music, but Sister Christian is a great audible. But go back to your Spotify playlist, please. And um, from the album Big Country, the band Big Country, please play the song In a Big Country. As you all pedal in formation back into Garrett, getting in your steps, your miles, your you all have traveled, especially Scarlett, who's been on several jogs. You're approaching, you know, the 30,000 step mark. You all make it back in town. The only difference is it's becoming later in the afternoon. The sky is beginning to darken as it is wintertime. It'll be completely down by 4:30, 5 o'clock. As you cruise in, it's about 3:30, 3:45. Downtown now is starting. You can actually see that some of the lights that are already being turned on, you know, you can see them testing the holiday lights. You can see them kind of glowing, and it's dark enough that you can tell that they're on. Now you can start smelling food as the outdoor vendors, people are roasting chestnuts. You know, you can smell the hot chocolate from here. And there are crowds beginning to form along Main Street. The library is just off of Main Street, so you don't have to get involved in too much of this traffic. And the library itself is pretty well deserted. You don't see anybody in the parking lot. Everyone seems to be spending the time away from books. You get there.
Heather
What would
makes
you like
a
to do?
beeline for the card catalog.
Okay. As you all pop inside, I will allow each of you to roll me an investigation check. Each of you will be gifted with different information should you succeed or fail. 2.
Yeah, this condition is really. Can I use one of my lucks to reroll?
Yeah, absolutely, always can. Luck, and of course, if you want to push any failed roll or a roll that you don't think you have enough successes for, you can, but you have to take condition to do so.
Scarlett, I'm going to give you one of my dice.
Ooh, thank
You
you.
have a reroll.
Nope, not Scarlet's day, or hour, I should say.
Okay, so several things happen as you walk in. First off, of the group, I'm assuming, and I don't mean to, but I'm assuming Heather probably comes to the library, given, you know, affiliation with Paperback Exchange. What about everybody else? JD, something tells me JD probably.
Yeah, definitely go. I might not go as often as I guess the difference between Heather and JD's like family relationships are so different that his mom might bring him books more than he has to go get them, where she has to be slightly more independent or extremely more independent.
Yeah, and Scarlet doesn't go to the library at all. So I feel like Heather and her have kind of switched roles, where Heather's like now got that pep in her step, maybe walking in, and Scarlet is hanging back at the last person to go in, like hands stuck in pockets.
Right. And that's probably why you don't notice anything, because
Yeah.
you notice everything. You've never been here. So there's nothing that kind of stands out. I will let Ricky, what about you?
Ricky has never set foot in a library.
Okay. So you're in the same boat as Scarlett. As you walk in, this is all new for you, as it's new for us, the audience. So I'll help as I can to tell you what the Garrett Public Library looks like. The first thing you notice is as you walk in, there is a circular desk just about 10 feet inside the door. Extending away from this circular desk are stacks and stacks well over your head of, 10 to 12 foot tall bookshelves. There are 2 levels to the public library. You can actually see there's wrought iron catwalks that lace around the top. The ceiling is huge, as this second floor also contains 10 to 12 foot bookshelves all across the top. Many of them are exposed as if they're in lofts on the right and left of you. Just above you is just a straight shot to the ceiling those two levels up, and you see a great dome depicting the much like the rotunda in the capital of Washington D.C. This depicts kind of the origin of Garrett, Maryland. You see indigenous peoples, and you see that the settling of Garrett, and just many different moments of war and things of that nature, things that typically decorate a public space like this. The circular desk in front of you is inhabited by one person, a 22-year-old, face claim Joan Cusack. You know this person to be Hannah Casper. She has lived in Garrett her entire life. She is extremely quiet, making her potentially, engineered to be a librarian. Again, the floor to ceiling, east to west, filled with books. There are signs everywhere urging school children to read, incentivizing them with free pizzas from Pizza Inn. You see sports paraphernalia from the local teams. You see the Orioles, the Pirates, the Steelers. It has a clean smell to it, not chemically induced, but much like a rain shower, not like Lysol. And unlike the rest of the town, as this is a place for congregation and the delineation of information, you see that in this town, the missing posters are still hung up with Ben and Jerry, Mitch and Shannon. But unlike anywhere else in Garrett, Maryland, there are two smaller 5x8 index cards that say George Butts and Rob Ott. And with that investigate roll of 2, that second one is going to gift, it was Heather, right? That had this, the
Yes.
2. Heather, maybe for the first time, as you walk in and with that, the last of the light from this Saturday coming through the window, a small crystal in the window catches a hint of the December sunlight, a gift from one book lover to another. Welcome to the library.
Do you see this over here? JD, the Rob
is-
Ott.
You think that's Rob?
Robot.
Oh,
Missing.
Is that the guy you know from the paperback exchange?
I mean, Ott sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, I mean, it
Is-
could be that, but what are the chances? I mean, it's a coincidence, right? Looking for Rob. There's Rob. Rob Ott. Heather
It's
points
just-
out Robot.
Doesn't have the helmet on in the picture.
Is there a picture of him or is it just his name?
An index
It-
card, right?
It looks to be a school picture
Oh.
that is
Oh.
taped to the corner of the index cards. There's no other information other than Robert Rob Ott, and George Butts.
Well, why don't you take that? I'll take it. And Heather takes it down. We can give this to him if we see him again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, all right, let's find this book.
Okay.
Wow, there's so many.
Lots of good ones too.
Hannah recognizes 2 of you and kind of perks up when you take the index card off. I'm sorry. What are you doing?
We're looking for a book.
No, I mean with the index card.
Oh, we wanna find Rob Ott.
We all do, but that's just the only picture I have.
Oh, can you make a copy with the Xerox?
It'll take me a little bit to warm it up because this is 1988, but sure. And you can see that there's this gigantic, it looks like a coffin behind her. And she goes back and turns it on, and it sounds like a proton pack turning up as it like begins pulling in energy and heat from the library.
She loads it up with Energon.
Right. Um, she says, I just assume that there's a constant hum behind her now. You said you were looking for a book?
We were looking for a Morse code manual.
Her eyes go wide. Oh my gosh, you're in luck. The Boy Scouts were in here all morning using both copies to complete a work for their signed signals and code badges. He said their scout leader gave them a surprise task this morning. They won't be on the shelf, but you can find them in the way back in the research room. Those boys were really loud. I'm glad they're gone, but it's straight back until you hit the wall in the east end. It's not in the Emerald City. It's in the Sherwood Forest room.
Sherwood Forest. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Is someone going to wait for the copy?
We'll come back and get it.
I'll have it in just a second.
I'll wait for it. And she's kind of like rocking back and forth on her heels.
Oh, okay, but you don't want to. Won't you get lost, Scarlet?
Oh, well,
We'll wait with you.
I'm sure I can find the way.
We should stay together.
Hannah pushes, there's like a tin of like peppermints, and she kind of pushes one towards Scarlet. These are free.
She'll kind of lean over and then she'll take one. Does the index card mention that he's missing, or is it just his name and picture?
Just his name and picture. It doesn't say he's missing, no date of birth, much like the milk cartons had, dates of birth and things like that. This doesn't have any other information, just the name. For Robert, it says Robert, and then in parentheses, Rob Ott. And then for George, it just says George Butts.
Why do you think he doesn't have a milk carton? Ma'am?
I don't like to speak out of turn. You can roll me a charm if you'd like. Or someone can.
I'll try.
Charm.
One success for Scarlet.
Since you took candy, that proves that you are trustworthy a bit. And Hannah turns to you and says, I didn't say this, but Rob's parents aren't very attentive.
Oh, but he is missing. That's why this is here, right? No one knows where he is.
He is missing, yes.
This is Rob from the paperback exchange, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he has parents?
I've never met them, but I've been told that they maybe shouldn't. Well, and you can see that there's more that she wants to say, or has at least been told, but she's trying to be respectful as she has a job that, if there was a complaint thrown her way, might not be her job anymore. He probably has a little bit more to be desired from.
And that other boy too?
Yeah, are they all friends?
They're all friends. Mm-hmm.
And that other boy, he doesn't have a milk carton either.
I don't know him.
And she'll kind of look at everybody, and she's not really speaking to Hannah anymore. She's just like, it's kind of weird that they're all friends and they all are missing.
Why isn't there more happening? I mean, I don't. Like six kids.
Yeah, they didn't. Wasn't it a couple weeks ago, like a couple months ago? Like, was it last month that there was talk about these kids going missing, and then they just kind of forgot?
Are you asking Hannah, or is this just a general? Is it loud enough for Hannah to hear?
Well, I'm assuming it's loud enough because she's probably not used to being in the library, so she's not using an inside voice. So Hannah can hear her, but she's talking to the kids.
Hannah would answer because Hannah's super lonely. And Hannah would say, I don't know why they've called off the searching. Somebody said that they ran away, but um, I know a few of these boys and they wouldn't have run away. Um, Shannon is an excellent student. Um, I don't know.
And she kind of
They-
looks at all the letters and like Shannon, Mitch, Ben, and then Jerry. Do I recognize Jerry?
Now that you see him, and a picture would be like his most recent picture, because here when you look at the actual, it's like their milk carton picture kind of blown up, but their milk carton pictures were like from their middle school years, like a good picture that was found, but tacked up on each of the missing posters is an equivalent of their most recent high school picture. The other two index cards just have those pictures, but when you see Jerry as a grown up or growing up, you recognize him from your brother's football team. He was a very big kid.
Jerry plays football with my brother.
It's done, isn't it done? When's it going to be done?
It's really cooking now.
Ricky says like far too loud for a library because he doesn't get it. Did they know anyone else that isn't missing that we could speak to about where they might have run away to?
Yeah.
Like, where would they go? I don't know.
Yeah, a place where they would like hang out. Do we know that anything like that? She says to Hannah.
Hannah would just shake her head. I know that they were friends with the science teacher when they were younger, Mr. Derry.
Oh, I like him.
And just a hint of color touches Hannah's cheeks. And the paperback exchange before the new people took over.
Does that sound familiar to us at all?
What
People, new management in the paperback exchange?
First you're hearing about it.
What do you mean? Who took over for the paperback exchange?
Yeah, what happened to Miss Maggie?
They're supposed to be opening up soon for the season. Maggie, I don't know. I don't know if Maggie went back north. I think there's a message left on the door that she went back to her family farm. I think it's her family farm.
Do you have a phone book back there?
Sure do. As you are introduced to rural Garrett, Maryland's Yellow Pages, which back in the day was 4 to 5 inches thick. God knows with what. But you got the white pages, the blue pages, the yellow pages, all that great stuff. And it's got a plastic binder on the outside of it too, to kind of hold this beast together. And here you go.
Thank you. Hey, let's look them up and see if we can get their addresses and their phone numbers.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Do you have some paper?
I have my journal.
Yeah, I have my playbook too if you need it.
Hannah can provide a pencil that has a rope tied to the end of it. Just get a little closer.
So we start looking up last names. Starting with Rob Ott.
Okay. Did you all want to get the Morse code book and bring it forward so you can do like 3 things at once, or do you want to wait and travel together? Or
let's do all the things.
It's totally up to you all. Just let me know how you want to proceed here. I'm trying to think of. I'm just thinking of time.
Yeah. Can we take the book to the Sherwood room? The phone book?
Hannah doesn't have a problem with it.
Cool.
It's a big book to carry around.
Yeah,
we
let's,
can-
so let's
She'll
just take
pick it up.
it with us, and then we can do that while we're looking at the Morse code, and then we can come back and we can get that printout.
Yeah, let's do that. Greg, when you were describing the library and the investigation role, you mentioned a crystal. JD had 1 success on his investigate. Does he notice it at all?
Once, because of your success with the crystal, as long as one of you noticed it, the rest of you would have been able to as well. So
okay. And does the crystal look familiar to what is hanging off of my dad's journal that he showed me a week ago or whenever it was? Like, would JD make that connection, or would it just be like, oh, there's another shiny rock?
I tell you what, I'll let you use your success for this. It's the exact same size.
Okay.
Now, you know from the one time that you saw your dad's journal that it had several bookmarks, well, kind of like the leather strap bookmarks that had different colored crystals of the same size. Right. Now, this is a color that you haven't seen before. It's like a light gray, but it's the exact same size.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep quiet about it. I was just curious. Not enough info, I think, to make too much of a, connection, but he notices it.
We only have a couple hours. We should go.
Yeah, we gotta hurry. I'll grab the book. Let's go.
Right. Feel something give. Your back. Yeah. You're able to get back there, no problem. You see that there are several research rooms, but the 2 that are on the eastern wall, one is Emerald City with depictions of the Wizard of Oz. There's a Tin Man and a Scarecrow and a semi-familiar lion. And on the other side is Sherwood Forest. Yep, with trees kind of painted all around and a bow that looks slightly familiar to Ricky. Inside Sherwood Forest, you find like a mess on the table, but it doesn't take you too long to find the 2 code books. Yeah.
Scarlett and Ricky, why don't you work on the addresses, and then JD and I'll work on figuring out this code.
Here's how we're going to do it, everybody. If you've split off in the teams to kind of decipher these things, 1 person from each team, please roll me a comprehend. That person will be assisted with an extra die from the other person. Again, if you have to push for whatever reason, take a consequence or a condition, the other person would have to as well. What we are rolling for is this. I am going to allow you to figure this out no matter what. However, if you succeed, you do so in a much shorter period of time. So if you succeed, if you don't have any successes, you're looking at about an hour to figure this whole thing out. If you do have a success, you're looking at about a half hour.
Heather will assist JD.
Okay.
In comprehend.
What's your comprehend?
1 plus mine, which is 5, 6.
6. Okay. I will roll it, and I will give my last leadership dice to the other group.
Ricky and Scarlett are doomed.
So I'm passing. That's why I'm passing it over. Good luck.
I heard the split up, and I was like,
but it makes sense.
Okay.
Here's this one. Wow, 1 of 8, but I got 1.
Nice.
Ricky, are you gonna roll comprehend, or do you want me?
Ricky also has some,
dice.
but Ricky has some.
Mine are also 3
successes. Don't you have some successes, Ricky?
I do. That was for price of a home. I don't know if this would apply in my mind for using something like that.
Yeah, same with me. Well, we each got.
I can roll it. Either one. Sounds like it's the same.
I haven't been having good luck. So I'm also got a condition.
Yeah,
so,
she has a condition, so
yeah.
I'll take it. I'll roll that one then.
With the +1 from leadership.
I'll use luck, Greg, to re-roll that.
And you still get the bonus die because this is a complete re-roll. So you don't lose that leadership die.
1 success.
Hey, there we go.
Phew.
So 30 minutes later, and you all have obtained the following: the addresses and telephone numbers, if you wish, of all of the members that you were looking up, save George Butts's. George Butts, his address and his telephone number are unlisted. You looked quite a long time for that, but you couldn't find it. That's not completely odd. You know
Is
that
it
several, you know that several people from the loop, they don't have listed phone numbers just because they don't want to have, constant phone calls and things like that from the public. The loop and Garrett have kind of a relationship, so it's not entirely odd. You did see an advertisement in the yellow pages for what you presume to be George's mom. She's a doctor of interesting
geriatric sex therapist.
Yes. But that number in and of itself, you don't even recognize as having the same area code. So you think it's a service of some kind. Normally it's like a 301 area code, and this is a 410, which doesn't mesh. You can always try it. We'll say you wrote it down. Now for the Morse code translation. Once you get it all figured out with what you've already come up with, Optimus translated, JD's mom translated the first couple words. Here, when you're very confident that this is the entirety of the message, it reads as follows. Got the fearin', power steering, pistons poppin', ain't no stopping now. Panama, Panama. I had to move my home. Meet me in the place that sort of sounds like where I live.
I had to move my home. Meet me in the place that sort of sounds like where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I will allow any two people to roll a comprehend to see what the hell could be meant by that message.
I'll go ahead and roll one of them.
I can roll one.
I think that was your first fail, JD.
I know, I've been rolling real well.
Heather got 2 successes. So Heather, as you're reading through that, you remember a couple things. That Panama, as you already have figured out, those are the lyrics to Van Halen's Panama. And if this is indeed from the person you know as Van Halen, the place that sort of sounds like where she would live is a tree. And you know that as you're kind of maybe even going through the map of Garrett in the front of the yellow pages, you would think, but you see the Maplehurst Mall. And there is a huge picture of a tree indicating that retail establishment.
So anyway, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe it's the Maplehurst Mall.
She's living in the mall.
Well,
Yeah.
meet me in a place that sort of sounds like my home. If you think it's Van Halen.
She lives in that tree, remember?
Maple tree. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Strange to move from a forest to a mall, right?
You would all remember the tree too, where you all took turns trying to kiss her to wake her up. One of my personal favorite moments in the entirety of this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
that was literally 15 minutes of no, you try.
Yeah.
That was the best. That was the most kid conversation too.
Yeah.
That was the greatest thing about that. Was, okay, so I don't got the juice. You somebody else try.
Well, I can't think of anything else besides the Christmas tree lighting that would have anything to do with the tree. But
yeah, that's what I thought too. But
it doesn't seem. That doesn't seem right. because that's only one event, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not far, is it? Where's the mall? Is it far away from Main Street?
No, no. In fact, just off of Main Street, if we're looking at our map, just off of Main Street, I'll ping here for you. This is Sarge's house. Main Street is right up. Oh, I'm sorry, right up here. And then if you go, this is the mall right there.
And where is the Odd House?
The odds would be. It's not on this one because I removed them from. Rob is right around in this area. In fact, he's very close because the library is here, so he's very close to.
So we could go maybe stop by the Odd House on the way to Maplehurst Mall.
Okay.
Okay.
It's about like, I don't know, 4:15 now. Just
Getting it
gotta hurry.
really close.
Should we go just straight to the mall and talk to Van Halen? I mean, we can always tell Optimus Prime where he lives.
This is, yeah, that's true. This is what we know, right? We know Rob lives there. We don't necessarily know if the Maplehurst Mall is the correct answer. I think we are all in agreement that it's close. We're probably right, but we don't know for sure. So maybe it is
No, you're right.
important that
probably,
we do start. No. I'm just saying we know for sure that Rob
it
lives
was a
there
silly idea.
or lived there. No. What? Where else could it be? It's the only thing that sounds like a tree. Maple
I agree.
tree. What else is there? I think you're 100% right on it, but we just don't know, right? Where we know Rob lives based off of the phone book.
Where to look? Where to even look for once we get there? Yeah.
But we don't know if Rob's going to be at the house because he's missing.
Probably not going to be there.
But it's worth checking.
Well, we can at least ride by. We don't have to go in. We don't have to ring the doorbell or anything. We could just ride by the house.
Yeah. Let's get a look because Miss Casper, she said that his parents weren't that involved. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we can see if anyone's still there. Maybe they left too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's just ride by it and then we'll go to the mall.
Yeah.
Craig, which address did we get for Ben McKenzie? Was it
the Sarge's house?
Sarge's house. Ricky would point that out. Ben's house on this list is on the way. We're going to pass it as well.
Heather would definitely know this. This is the house that Heather saw burning.
Oh. Well, like a month ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as you all kind of figured that out, like kind of, Heather, you would realize as soon as it was described where that house was, this is the house that burned.
Yeah, I don't know if they live there anymore. The yellow pages, they're not always up to date.
Did the house burn? She looks at we're not by the posters anymore. We don't know when they disappeared, do they? Like, did the house burn down before they disappeared?
Yeah, do you remember? It was that day. You remember the day at the paperback exchange? Do you remember that day? That's the day that the house burned down and there was all those car accidents and it was, and then everybody forgot about it all. I don't think that house is standing, maybe even.
Wait, the paperback exchange? Well, remember we met that Pennywise guy. Remember when we were in there and we heard Mr. Derry's voice call out Mitch. Do you think it's this Mitch?
Well, somehow this is all tied together. We gotta go. We only have 2 hours.
We gotta go, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. They said that they were friends with Mr. Derry, and then that's what Miss Casper said.
Do you think that's the day? Like when everything burned down and that happened in the paperback exchange? Do you think Pennywise just ate them all up?
No.
I don't know.
We gotta go. Like, can we go see Van Halen?
Yeah, let's go find
Maybe
her.
we can see her see the houses on the way back.
Okay.
Yeah.
She might be able to help. She helped before the other 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
We're done with this book. And she holds up the Morse code book.
Yeah, just leave it here.
Yeah. Wonder what the Boy Scouts were working on.
Mm.
Have they left any notes?
There's paper everywhere. But most of it just dashes and dots.
It just seems like a Boy Scout thing. We should go.
Okay. Greg, I want to grab a handful of paper and shove it in my backpack.
somewhere, Mitch with the Autobots is nodding like Jack Nicholson. Yes, you know.
And Scarlett is going to take the book, the Morse code book, and when she sees JD grabbing those papers, she's going to hand him the book and put it in his bag.
Sure. So everybody's leaving though, right? You're
yeah.
Okay. So we'll say then that as all of you are taking things back, as stated by the narrative, sticking back long enough to grab enough of the papers to push them into his bag. JD, as you exit Sherwood Forest, you are lifted off the ground. Scarlett, you are just ahead of him as you help to put the book into his bag. And he is being lifted by a man, huge, maybe 6'5", in a full black suit with black sunglasses.
Ooh.
And by the front and the straps of the backpack that you're wearing, you feel them tighten across your back as he casually lifts you up and stares you in the eyes, your own reflection reflected in the sunglasses that he's wearing.
Whoa.
And
hey.
Ignoring Scarlett completely.
Mister, what are you doing, mister?
This gentleman says, "Human designation, Casey Mitchell. You are coming with me."
Oh, yeah? And she's going to fucking kick him in the shin.
That's where we end this session.
Damn it!
Holy shit.
God. That escalated. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh my God.
Hey, I got my second Michigan and I was like, here we go. All right, fantastic stuff. Alrighty, let's go around and talk to everybody. I don't want to step on Mike's toes and I'll let him do our outros, but let's go in reverse order as we go to Mitchell. Bacon, my friend, how are you? Where can we find you online?
Man,
all that good stuff.
Knees weak, palms are sweaty right now. So wow. Wow. Yeah, so you can find me at twitch.tv/astoldbydice, as well as Twitter that way, at that tag as well. I will be streaming on Tuesday actually, we don't know if we'll be streaming because we got a couple work things coming up, but eventually too, I will be running Icewind Dale, or at least a campaign set in Icewind Dale. So we aren't going to do Rime of the Frostmaiden. I'm just going to use that as a setting. So that will be fun. So check out that. I'll be tweeting about it and talking about it. But wow, this I don't know what to think. That's a lot, and there's so much good that happened in this episode, acting and role playing and all those things. So lots of stories and information that we got. So I'm stoked.
Fantastic, my friend. Let us jump up to Chris. Chris, how are you? Where can we find you online, buddy? And all that good stuff.
I'm Chris, aka Necro. You can only find me in the Discord. Nowhere else. That was intense, Greg. That was intense from everyone. Fantastic session. Can't wait for the after show.
Fantastic. Let's jump over to Melissa. Melissa, my friend, how are you? Where can we find you online and all that good stuff?
I'm just a buzz. This was an amazing episode. Just fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. It was just great game. Who am I? Melissa Meyer. My name or handle is Draftier. You can find me in Twitter and Discord, and mostly just fangirling after all the people that are in this room on the screen. So that's me.
Fantastic, my friend. And last but certainly not least, G, how are you? Where can we find you online and all that jazz?
I'm tired, Greg. I'm tired, but good. Yeah, you can find me on Twitch, Lightning Invoker, on Twitter, Lightning Spaz09, and you'll find me all through the Unmade Gaming Discord.
Fantastic. And me, I am Greg Grimjack21502. You can find me in the Discord. You can find me on over on Academic Foxhole's Trooper SJP's channel on Friday nights to do a little City of Light and Shadow. But yeah, thank you. But definitely in the Unmade Gaming Discord, if you go over to the Atari Twilight and at me, I will answer any questions that you at me. But again, if you don't at me, I am too old and can't find it. So, please join us over there. It's a fun, great community. I appreciate Mike so much. I want to take a special moment outside of the after show to say this. This group took it up a level at the beginning of this episode and throughout. Fantastic role players, all accepting conditions, bringing forth backstory, putting their character through their paces, doing things that their characters would do even though they did not want to do them as players. That, my friends, makes my job a lot easier. But boy, oh boy, does it make it fun, because I can sit back and watch. As I said at the very top, this is the point where the players tell the story. It is under their control. And so I am blessed to be here whenever I'm allowed, and can't wait to be here again.
Season 3, right?
Season three, and of course we get to see what happens to the Keystones and Twist of Fate. So, Mike, back to you, my dear friend.
Perfect. That was an amazing episode. Holy shit. Yeah, if you guys like that and you want to support the channel, check us out over on Patreon. Link for that down below. Like everyone said, join us in the Discord. Talk about this game. All games forthcoming, especially Atari Twilight Season 3. Release date coming soon. But for now, we are out of here. We will see you next time for more Twist of Fate. And if you want access to the after show that we're going to do right now, check it out on Patreon. Probably up later today, if I'm not lazy. We'll see. But for now, we'll see you guys next time. So from all of us to you, bye-bye.